This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 109, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode, I speak to Boom Boom Cannon, unfortunately, about computer games. Oh yeah, baby, that's right. You know, the things that you play on the PlayStation, the Xbox, stuff like that. Computer games. As we are both a little bit old, we speak about some of the older computer games like Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario. So it might be worth knowing what they are. But we only speak about them for a little bit. Okay, so don't worry. There's still a lot of rocking and rolling in the show. Anyway, remember all of the rock and roll vocabulary is on the website rockandrollenglish.com. Go there, read it, play with it via the quiz, and have fun, people. I will stop talking now. Happy listening. Boom Boom Cannon, how are you today?
Good, Martin. Yeah, I've been called up off the bench again, haven't I?
Unfortunately, yes. So called up off the bench, he's making a football reference there when a substitute has to come onto the pitch. And that is exactly what you're doing. Unfortunately, clarification, Charlie's computer is out of action. So we're stuck with the Boom Boom again.
Reliable. So,
reliable Russ, exactly. He's always there when you need him. Even if you tell him, look, I don't want you, but there's no one else, he'll still be there, okay?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here waiting for you to possibly ask if I want to do the podcast. So.
Exactly. Well, thank God clarification Charlie's computer is not working. Although she says it's not working, she's so bad with computers, I think she's just having difficulty with the on-off button.
Right,
is this one on? Oh, it's terrible, yeah. Nightmare. Anyway, has your mojo come back, Boom Boom, after last week's podcast?
Yeah, it really inspired me to find my mojo again. So, yeah.
Thank God, because I was lying in bed at night thinking, has Boom Boom got his mojo? But obviously you have.
It's back. It's here. Back. Yeah.
Thank God. Okay, probably best to move on with the show. So how do we usually start the show?
With a review.
Oh, yeah, baby. So we have one here, 5 stars, which is always great. Not really interested in the 4 stars ones.
Yeah.
On iTunes as well, which is my favourite place for reviews. I mean, reviews anywhere are good. Facebook, anywhere, any podcast app. But, you know, iTunes is just something else. There's something special about it.
Particularly if they're 5 stars.
Oh,
it's the best number of stars.
Exactly. What a great number.
Yeah.
And the title is Loving Your Work. And it says, loving the work of Boom Boom, Cannon and Charlie as hosts. Martin is a great guest, although his view on dogs and royals is questionable. And I was already thinking, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
It goes on to say, great way to learn English with an edge. So a nice bit of rock and roll vocabulary there. So with an edge, which means like with an advantage. And then I looked at the name, and the name was Charlie Chappell.
Okay.
AKA, also known as Clarification Charlie. Okay, so she might not be on the podcast at the moment, but she's still throwing punches at me. Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah, great review. I like that one with you referred to as the guest, which I like. I also think of you as the guest on this podcast.
Well, that's great to know, because I think of you as the number 2, okay, the substitute, okay. So thanks a lot for that clarification, Charlie. Remember though, all reviews are fine, fake reviews, anything like that, as long as they're 5 stars, preferably on iTunes, okay. Always great. Anyway, Boom Boom. So, do you know what we're talking about today?
No. Yep, I'm in the dark as usual.
In the dark. Remember, that's when you don't know something. Well, last Wednesday was International Video Games Day. Okay, which in English we'd probably say computer games. Video games is a bit American for me. What about you, Boom Boom?
Yeah, computer games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that it was International Computer Games Day, I'll be honest.
Or what?
Passed me by, that one. Yeah.
So when he said it passed me by, it happened without him even realising it. Like, I would say 99% of people in the world. But never mind, here we go. Although I was thinking it would have probably been better to do this last week, considering it was last Wednesday. But, you know, we have to make do. Oh, rock and roll vocabulary there. When you have to make do, you have to do the best with what you've got, basically.
We'll do the best we can.
Exactly. So we're going to look at some benefits of playing computer games, maybe some negatives. I can't remember what I've got written down on my piece of paper. Okay.
Notes. I'm a fan of notes. So.
Boom Boom loves the notes. Boom Boom's notes are probably more organised than mine, but I'm more rock and roll. Sure. Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Sure.
So the first benefit is it says that video games may be able to improve vision because the like aiming and shooting at stuff apparently helps you with your vision, which is not really what happened with me when, I don't know, I'd been playing a video game, I'm becoming American, a computer game for like 10 hours. I didn't really feel my vision was getting any better.
No, you can play for too long.
Yeah.
That is
a problem. As well, when it helps with vision, I was also thinking, like, you imagine your nan, so that's your grandmother, has got problems with her eyes. She goes to the opticians, which is the place where the sort of eye doctors are, let's call them, and then they say, "You got problems? Just go and play on the PlayStation, okay? Go and buy the gun and start shooting some ducks. You'll be fine."
Just, a few hours of Call of Duty and you'll be fine.
You'll be fine, Nan. Okay, just a bit of I think they call it COD is what the youngsters call it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, did I show myself up there as being out of touch?
Exactly. So when you show yourself up, you behave in a way that makes you feel embarrassed, makes you feel a bit stupid. But, I mean, you are a number 2 on this podcast, Boom Boom, so that's the kind of behaviour we expect from you.
That's what you get from a substitute. So, yeah.
If only Clarification Charlie were here.
I've never actually even played Call of Duty. It was just the only kind of modern video game I could even really think of.
Sure. Well, we will be talking about some of the old vintage classics of when we were young, Boom Boom. Okay,
Good.
So don't worry. Another lesson apparently it teaches you is that failure is the key to success. And in the article it mentions like J.K. Rowling that wrote Harry Potter. She was rejected by 12 publishers. Talks about Michael Jordan that didn't make his school basketball team. I think, okay, but they were trying to do something useful. If you can't get past level 3 of Super Mario and then you finally do it, is that success?
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a stretch to link computer games to the success of J.K. Rowling and the like.
Exactly. Well, if it is success, believe me, I was the most successful sort of like 12-year-old ever, especially on Super Mario.
I mean, I think it really kind of says, if you want the sort of success they've got is, stop playing the computer games and either try to write a book or practice basketball, not just keep trying to get to the next level of your computer game.
Of Super Mario. That's a game we know, Boom Boom.
Yeah, okay. That's our point of reference.
Exactly. Super Mario. Everyone knows Super Mario. Okay, it's brilliant.
I was always more of a Sonic
kind
of guy.
Such a wanker. Such a wanker. So remember, wanker is someone that wanks, someone that masturbates, but we use it more for idiot. But that's just typical you, Boom Boom. You have the choice of the best or second best, and you've gone for the second best.
Sonic was a bad boy, whereas Mario was an Italian plumber. So, I think I know whose side I'd rather be on.
Good point. So plumber is someone that fixes like the water stuff in your house, like Super Mario. If you don't know what a plumber is, think of Super Mario, okay? All those pipes he goes in.
Yeah, or Luigi. Also a plumber.
In fact, if we were doing Super Mario, I would very much be Mario and you would be Luigi, number 2.
Yeah, but if we were doing Sonic, you would be Tails. So...
Yeah, I hope people know about Sonic and Super Mario because we're getting quite detailed here. So I think it is probably time to move on.
Just to move on, sure.
Exactly. So the next thing is that video games apparently can teach you teamwork, which I think, is a great skill to have. Very often people write that on their CVs. So the CV, I think, what is it? Curriculum vitae?
Yes. Yeah, that's the Latin, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When you go for a job, you need your CV. Many people write things like great at teamwork, so they can just say, okay, well, I play computer games. When I was at university, for example, we played 2 against 2 Pro Evolution Soccer. That's teamwork. You can put that on your CV.
Get it on the CV. Yeah.
You could put like ability to work alone to complete Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. I'll get it on the CV as soon as we finish this podcast.
Very good. You should be able to get a great job with that. Or do you ever want a job again, Boom Boom? Or are you just going to stay studying again forever?
Ideally, I'd like to just study forever. Yeah, but we'll see.
What a great time that is, studying. Speaking of that, I've got actually a sort of quite related story to teamwork, computer games, studying. Boom Boom told me many years ago he was playing Championship Manager with his brother. So if anyone's not familiar with that game, you manage a football team. You have to be a real football nerd to enjoy that. But luckily, that's what Boom Boom is, and that's also what I am. So I enjoyed that game quite a lot. The problem is when you play two players on that game, you have to wait for the other person to do the team tactics, and it can get quite boring. So Boom Boom's older brother made him the assistant manager of his team, didn't he, Boom Boom?
Yeah, it was a quite kind of cunning and devious way of actually just meaning he played on his own.
So a really nice piece of rock and roll vocabulary there. Cunning is when you show, let's say, skill to deceive someone, which is exactly what Boom Boom's brother was doing when he wanted to play on his own. So he just said to his little brother, you can be my assistant. And Boom Boom was like, okay, brilliant. Can I make some notes?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of essentially involved me watching him play Championship Manager, and then because obviously you'd play it was on the computer on a PC with the mouse, and maybe it would be like, okay, you're allowed to now sort of touch the mouse for 5 minutes, and then the manager takes over again, and that was the game. So yeah, lots of fun.
Oh, what a great time that must have been. Again, Boom Boom just number 2 in his life. The story of your life, Boom Boom.
I should say this was when I was very young. Once I got older, I worked out this trick that he was playing on me, and then insisted on managing my own team to great success, I should add. So.
Oh, I'm sure we could actually do a podcast about Championship Manager
Really
another time
good.
for the football nerds. We could definitely talk about that for a long time. Another one here, though, is video games teach you multitasking and can make you a better driver. I think, well, that's great, especially my experience with Super Mario Kart. That hopefully will set me in good stead. So when I say that, I mean it will prepare me well for driving in Palermo, which I've been doing quite a lot of recently, which isn't the best, I must admit.
Yeah, hard place to drive, is it?
Yeah, it's not the best. I get a lot of angry faces and strange hand gestures sort of pointed towards me. Like, even if you stop basically at a crossing, so to let someone cross the road, people are like hitting their horns, so the horns are like, eh. And I'm thinking, look, I've just let someone stop, and they're shouting out like, che cazzo fai, which means like, what the fuck are you doing? Okay, I'm sorry, I won't let her cross next time. I'll just kill the mother and her child. I will just run over them.
Yeah, keep stopping, I'd say. Stopping.
Well, that's it. I don't know what I should do. Should I stop, let people cross the road? Or, I don't know, just keep driving? Oh, it's just crazy.
Just give a few of your own hand gestures back in return, I think.
I actually did that once on my bike. Well, I didn't. I'd sort of shouted something back in Italian. The car was just moving and then sort of cut a piece of my street, and I had to move very quickly, and I shouted that exact thing, che cazzo fai, like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he got out of the car and then said to me, what did you say? And at that point, I just thought, I'm just going to pedal as fast as I can now.
Yeah, didn't say anything.
Definitely not man enough to, I just thought, that's taught me a valuable lesson, okay? Don't ever say anything like that again, especially to a very big man.
Yeah. You did take me on a bike ride once, didn't you, in Palermo? And
you didn't enjoy it very much,
Yeah, it was quite a scary experience. The roads weren't quite what I was kind of used to for cycling. But,
at one point, I just remember you going like, I like the London health and safety regulations. I think you were asking me where the helmet was. I said, look, Boom Boom, you don't need a helmet, okay? We're just going free. It's like the jungle, okay?
Yeah. It was it was like the Wild West out on those roads, as I recall.
That's the analogy I use quite a lot, actually. It's like a jungle, and then I always tell everyone, I'm Tarzan. I'm the king of the jungle.
Right, okay. Unless someone gets out of their car.
Then I don't know what the weakest person in the jungle is, but then I'm that. I think I actually told you that, Boom Boom, when you were having difficulty on the roads. I said, like, don't worry, it's a jungle and I'm the king of the jungle. And I remember you just sort of said, what the fuck are you talking about? This is dangerous. Don't talk to me about Tarzan.
Yeah, when you're sort of on a bike on what you consider, in the middle of traffic and dangerous roads, your mate just telling you he's Tarzan, he's the king of the jungle, doesn't really actually help in any way.
I was just trying to assure you everything was fine, and that's what you do.
Yeah, I was looking for some, some actual kind of some sort of road advice. What are the regulations here? What are the rules? Not just a silly analogy about you being the king of the jungle.
Well, I thought it worked. Okay. Anyway, so carrying on with this, another benefit of computer games is that it can create great conversations, which is absolutely true. I've had many a great conversation with Boom Boom and other people about Championship Manager. And it also reminded me of a great conversation you had, Boom Boom, when we were in Thailand. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
See,
yeah,
even
I sure do.
14 years later, we both still remember the conversation.
A conversation, yeah, very geeky, wasn't it? Very geeky.
So just for everyone to know, we were going to the full moon party in Thailand, which is a big party on an island. We got in, let's call it a taxi, but, it wasn't a proper taxi. There's people sort of holding on to stuff in the back of a car. I was trying to pump myself up for a night out. I was thinking, this is going to be great. Loads of women, loads of alcohol, dancing all night. Boom Boom strikes up a conversation. Notice I said there, strikes up a conversation. Starts a conversation with these lads from Scotland. And one of them was from Motherwell. And Boom Boom had just been playing Championship Manager again, been managing Motherwell. And the next thing you know, they're talking about Motherwell. And, I like football. I consider myself to have a good knowledge of football, but I had no idea what they were talking about, these players from Motherwell. And it really didn't keep me in the mood for a night out, Boom Boom. I was thinking, we're going to go dancing, it's going to be great. And then we're just talking about, Motherwell football players.
Just an amazing coincidence that...
An amazing coincidence, yeah. What an amazing coincidence. One of the best moments of Boom Boom's life, I would say. 14 years ago, having a conversation about Motherwell.
This,
okay?
This Scottish guy, when he got in the back of this taxi, and then he's like, okay, here's some Essex lads, and, sort of mentioned that he supported Motherwell. He didn't expect one of them to say, well, Stephen Hamill is a fantastic left back, isn't he? And if anyone wants
not recreate the conversation, Pooh, but it was bad for me then.
If anyone wants to Google Stephen Hamill, that was the left back. He was fantastic. Just a great. Yeah, a good example of this. Yeah, computer game really helped in striking up that conversation.
Exactly. I'm sure that guy still remembers it as well. I'm sure he's talking to one of his friends now saying, do you remember that conversation I had with that guy from Essex 14 years ago? But what it did do was kill the vibe for the night out. This is what I want everyone to think about. We got there before I was pumped up, thinking this is going to be amazing. And then we got there and it was just sort of like, oh... Can we play Championship Manager now? Should we go home and play Championship Manager, or should we try and pull some birds?
Yeah.
So pull some birds. So when you pull someone, that's when you, let's say, meet a girl or a man and start a romantic relationship. And a bird is a way that we often refer to women in English. It's not actually very offensive. It's a very normal thing to do.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Depending on the environment that you're in,
Well, just to give some context of how we use this in English, my mum, for a long time, I didn't have a bird, and then she would always say to me, "Have you got a bird yet?" No, mum.
Yeah,
haven't got a bird.
Yeah, but
so if mums are using it, it's quite common.
I don't know. I don't think one woman using it, albeit a mum, is evidence that it's perfectly okay. See what Charlie thinks maybe on the next
exactly.
Next
See what clarification. That's the great thing. That's why we have a woman on the podcast now. We've moved into the 21st century. Hopefully she will just work out the on and off button of the computer and then everything will be fine.
Yeah.
But one other thing apparently is that kids these days watch YouTube videos of people playing computer games. Can you actually believe that's a real thing?
Well, I've heard about this actually. That on YouTube that's quite a big thing.
I mean, I wasted my childhood playing computer games, but I always say at least I was playing them. I was just thinking of, though, maybe someone with a camera filming you and your brother, of you being assistant manager to your brother on Championship Manager. How fantastic viewing that would be.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Great viewing.
And then if you tried to touch the mouse, and then your brother just saying, no, don't touch that. You can't touch that.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to watch that?
Exactly. Well, I certainly would. And on that note, Boom Boom, it's probably a good time to say goodbye.
Cool. Yeah. Well,
okay. I am praying that you won't be here next time, but
sure.
I said that last time, and I'm here.
Yeah. Here I am again. Always available.
Always available. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that, Boom Boom. We'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was me speaking to Boom Boom Cannon about computer games. So let's have a look at some of that rock and roll vocabulary, baby. Boom Boom said he's been called up off the bench. So when you are called up, you are ordered to join something. Often people are called up to the army, called up to the international football team, ordered to join something. You don't have a choice. In the review from Clarification Charlie, it said, great way to learn English with an edge. So that's like an advantage, and let's call it a kind of sexy advantage. If something has an edge, it's better than something else, but in a nice way, in a kind of sexy way. Boom Boom said he was in the dark when I asked him if he knew what we were talking about. So remember, if you're in the dark, you don't know. I told him it was National Computer Day, and he said, I wasn't aware. It passed me by. So if something passes you by, it's exactly that. It goes straight past you and you're not aware of it. Then when I was talking about International Computer Game Day or whatever, I said it was last week. So I said it would have been better. Notice there, would have been better to do this last week. But we're doing it now, so we have to make do. So if you have to make do, you have to make the best of the situation. There's a fantastic video on YouTube made by... me, about that verb. So go to the website and you can watch it. We also had the word nan, which, remember, in England is a very common way to speak about your grandmother. And we had the word opticians, which is like the doctor you have to go when you have a problem with your eyes. When I said that the game Call of Duty is referred to as COD, Boom Boom didn't know that, and he said, did I show myself up there? So if you show yourself up, you expose yourself, you embarrass yourself. Embarrass yourself is probably a better explanation. We had the word plumber. Remember, that's the man or woman that comes and fixes the water stuff in your house, the pipes. Super Mario, he was a plumber. When Boom Boom was saying his brother made him assistant manager of the game, he said it was quite a cunning way of meaning that he played on his own. So if something is cunning, it's deceiving. And in a smart way, you deceive someone in an intelligent way, like Boom Boom's brother did. He tried to make him feel like he was involved, and he said, you're the assistant, but really, he was playing the game on his own. So it was a cunning way to deceive him. I then said that hopefully Super Mario Kart will set me in good stead for driving in Palermo. So that means it will prepare you. Maybe listening to this podcast every day will set you in good stead for living in London, for example. When I was talking about driving, I said people often hit their horns. So when you hit your horn, it's when you go, which happens a lot over here. Then we were talking about that famous conversation that Boom Boom had with the guy from Scotland. And I said, Boom Boom then strikes up a conversation with these boys from Motherwell. So when you strike up a conversation, you begin a conversation. And then I said, when we arrived at the party, I said to him, shall we play Championship Manager or shall we pull some birds? So pull some birds is a very slang way to say go out and find some women to maybe take home with us and enjoy breakfast with, let's say. And speaking of the word birds, remember, I still don't think it's a bad thing to say, but we will ask Clarification Charlie. Anyway, that's all of the rock and roll vocabulary. Remember to go and find it on the website, rockandrollenglish.com. Do the quiz, have fun. I will see you next week. In the meantime, though, just keep on rocking.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.